We heard everybody's opinion on South Africans and how South Africans are xenophobic. Now it's time for South Africans to tell you honestly how we really feel. Because everybody has shared how they feel, right? Seems like the only thing that's missing is us, because nobody is having the conversation that we are trying to have.
Please, nobody should ask me why am I so excited today, because what Cupcake pulled can only be what South Africans can do. So as a South African adopted daughter, I'm happy, guys. I'm happy. I want to cry. I'm so happy. That's why I'm like this today. Can't you see I'm different? Since I started talking about South Africa, I'm having collarbone. Collarbone, guys. You can imagine. Oh my god. Anyways, guys, I really don't have much to say about this video. All I want to say is we are not listening to what other Africans need to say about South Africa. You people will not teach South Africans how to rule their country. You will not teach South Africa what needs to be in their country and what doesn't need to be in their country, because from what we have seen from your own country, there is nothing that we can learn as an example. Yeah, so why do you people think your opinion counts? Those are the same opinion that you people put in fixing your country, no, in bringing down your country. So people want to come and give the same opinion to South Africa, so they will bring down their country. It will not work. It will not work, because I know every one of you are planning to see South Africa at your level, but it will not work. I'm telling you that the God that South Africa said neither sleep nor slumber. I'm telling you, because people have tried for years, 30 years now, South Africa is still standing. Get the bam, no shaking. So what makes you people think because of this your petty trick, trying to brainwash South Africa or blackmail South Africa, anything is gonna work? Nothing will work there. Anyways, guys, I don't have much to say. If you haven't subscribed, please do it to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this video, and I'll be here to respond. So see you guys in our next video. Bye, girls.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to that Ghanaian gentleman. Oh, my good sir, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is not something that we want to see. Violence. I do not condone violence. Okay. So, to start off, I noticed that a lot of the people from West Africa are very opinionated in this. And I'm going to break it down in a comparison way in how it happens in the United States and how it's happening in South Africa. And then you're going to understand why there is a lot of fight back, right, to migrants coming into Africa, right? As I talk, I'm going to put some of these articles up there. I'm not going to get into them. Just go ahead and read them, okay? But they will tie into what I'm saying. Since 1994, when Nelson Mandela became president, okay, South Africans have not experienced a time where they can be by themselves and build the vision and the economy that they wanted to build. They are still scraping to achieve that goal, right? I know this. A lot of people are talking everything but what South Africans are trying to talk about, right? Yeah. So since 1994 to 2026, of course, government is corrupt and everything else, right? But the experience of South Africans, and they can point it year by year by year by year, right? How when you live in a country where you have undocumented migrants, right? When people are undocumented, they cannot work legally. So that means that they cannot pay taxes. So imagine you live in a country, right? And does this happen in your country? Just tons of people, a score of people, right? No legal documents, right? But they have businesses. They don't pay taxes, right? Who's paying the taxes, right? So you have the South Africans who are already underemployed. South Africans go to school, get educated, but for some reason, the South African government is just unable to create jobs. The amount of doctors in South Africa that are sitting without jobs, right? Now, let me tell you a story. When I first got to the United States, right, one of the things that I wanted to break out of was get out of working in the resort area that I was working, and I wanted to get established. And so reached out to my West African community that seemed to be established. I was directed there, and they were like, hey, do a CNA course, Certified Nursing Assistant, right? Once you have the certificate, you'll work in nursing homes, hospitals, you'll be able to go to school, get your own apartment and even buy a car. I was like, yeah, sign me up. So I signed up, get to the school, and from the get-go, I understand that it's accelerated, which means that it was going to go fast. So that's where I learned that taking my nurse CNA certificate, it took 2 weeks, okay? You're going to find out later that it takes 6 to 8 months, a regular course for this, right? And then those are the people like me who picked the CNA, and then the other people who took the nursing, right? And I think the nursing was like 2 months, right? And then there was also RN, and I don't know how long that was. But anyway, so these were accelerated, right? But of course, accelerated courses are a thing. There's nothing strange about that, right? But in healthcare, though, what can I learn in 2 weeks where other people need to learn in 6 to 8 months, right? But anyway, I got my certificate, right? And I was happy about it. I did work. And then I moved to California. It transferred in California. But after a while, when I was working in California, that accelerated course was in Massachusetts. Now I'm in California. Then I started learning in California. They were like, hey, man, what do you mean you took 2 weeks to do your course? That's not how that works. Do some research, and I realized that, oh, man, okay, the West Africans in Massachusetts were running a ring of just pushing certificates and all these nursing fields and stuff like that of people who are undereducated. You know what I'm saying? And being undereducated in healthcare, you pose a risk, right? Just go ahead and read all these things that I'm putting up here, right? Because that's where I found myself, right? I did not know. But I did drop all of that once I got to California because I wanted to explore other things, right? And I left it all behind me. But I do want to tell you that those nurses that were above me, LVNs, LPNs, and to registered nurses and stuff, they are still nurses today. So fast forward about 10 years later, 15 years later, in Los Angeles, and another scandal in Los Angeles where there's fake nursing documents, right? Again, this is not new to the people in the US. I think even during COVID, when they needed nurses real fast, there was a lot of people got exposed, and a lot of those people were West Africans, specifically Nigerians, right? So I want to share that with you, right? Because that was my personal experience for the first time being around something like that. And by the way, this whole group of people, they had social security numbers, birth certificates for everything, and you could get everything over there, right? But anyway, I moved myself away from all of that. I did not know. I was young. So imagine if, oh, by the way, I want to tell you how legit this is. So this means that this group of people have people from inside that can get answers where you can pass this test. I mean, these are legit certificates that you can transfer from one state to another. So this ring of things is really deep, and it is in America, where America is like security is tight, right? Now, what do you think they're doing in South Africa? If they can pull that here in the United States, it's been happening in South Africa. You can ask any South African how even the small town hospitals were overtaken by African migrants, while South Africa is not employing regular South Africans, doctors who are sitting on certificates. So these things are stressful, right? But nobody's really want to talk about that because everybody's favorite word is xenophobia, xenophobic, right? But nobody wants to hear the economic issues. In the EFF, it says Economic Freedom Front, but it seems like everybody's focusing on the freedom front. But what about the economic side of it? For things to happen, people have to pay taxes. To get this free healthcare and these free clinics, somebody somewhere is working. And so imagine how a taxpayer in South Africa feels every day, right? And mind you, these migrants, undocumented migrants, they are not overpopulating places like the Western Cape waterfront where the white people are. Yet they'll be the first ones who say, but South Africans are not fighting the white people. They don't overpopulate or build their churches over there because they know that white people will call the law on them and they'll be exposed. So they influx into the villages, they influx into the small towns, small places where people already are strapped, they already don't have anything. And then to see them have shops, right? Not pay taxes. Do you guys know that they sell sometimes poisonous foods? Do you know that people die in South Africa because of the small shops from African migrants who are trying to survive, of course? But when you skip the system like that and put people's health in danger, this is serious stuff. To a point where they are manufacturing their own food, selling to South Africans, right, at cheap prices, right? Because again, we're exploiting the already poor South Africans who are already underemployed. And that one is for good measure. That one is for the bullying that you guys have been doing here on this internet, calling us all kinds of names and wishing all kinds of bad things. Yet nobody wants to talk about the economy. There is a strain on South African citizens. No, I don't condone violence. But let's not talk like we don't understand violence, right? The reason you all take shoes at the airport is because of him about to do the most violent thing. Why? There was never violence here that needed to happen. South Africans are asking people to pay taxes. Instead, we get homophobic Africans. Yes, this will play a part too. Because what do you mean South Africans are evolving into a whole different morale while you have people who are forcing themselves and their own beliefs and bringing in churches? By the way, West African economy in South Africa is churches. Do churches create jobs? No, they do not. Nobody wants to listen to Africans. It's easy to say xenophobic. It's very easy to say that. But having the real conversations. Are these things happening in other countries? Like, how do other African countries exist? Like taxes, like a tax is a thing? Like, does everybody know how important that is? And how it can deliberate an entire country when people work, make money, and don't
Hello everyone, welcome back. It's your favorite girl Imelda. After Cupcake dealt with your president, West African, like other Africans, after Cupcake dealt with your president yesterday, it's our turn as South African to deal with the citizen packet. So my South African mama said she will not allow South Africans to listen to the lectures of African country that sold their flesh and blood for slavery and slave trade to Europeans and Arab people. Yes, we will not listen to your lectures. People cannot lecture South Africans. You cannot lecture South Africans. You will not lecture me too. Anyways, guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do it to like, share, and subscribe. While you listen to what our queen has to say, and my reaction will be at the end of this video. So please stay tuned.